Structure and functions of synapse. Information is sent along the neuron through electrical signals known as nerve impulses are positively charged waves that flow along the axon to the synaptic node. There is a narrow gap called synapse that separates the synaptic node from neuron dendrites that receive the impulses. Electrical signals that carry information must be transferred across synapse for impulse to be transmitted to the following neuron. Okay. So synapse play an important role in allowing nerve impulse to travel in one direction. Therefore, synapse control the types of impulse that pass through them. Okay, so I will show you back this diagram. Okay, so we have two neurons here. So from this diagram, you can see that these neurons both are motor neuron, right? Motor neuron. Okay, so the first neuron here, okay, the number one here, we call it as sending neuron. Okay, sending neuron, because this the first neuron that will carry the impulse. Okay, the second one known as receiving neuron. So receiving neuron is neuron that will receive the impulse from other neuron. Okay, but both are, we can see from the scheme, are motor neuron, right? Okay, so there's a gap here between the synaptic node of the sending neuron and also dendrites of the receiving neuron. So the gap here this gap is known as synapse. The gap between the synaptic node of the sending neuron and the dendrites of the receiving neuron known as synapse. So the impulse that flow must be okay, let's say we have the impulse here. The impulse will flow from the dendrites and the cell body and then enter the axon. Then maybe here we jump to node of the rambia and then reach at the axon here. So it will then arrive the synaptic node. So the impulse from the synaptic node here must be travel to this receiving neuron. Okay, so receiving neuron. So how it transfer? So there is a process that will occur in the synapse. Because in this case, the electrical impulse will be converted into chemical, then convert back into the electrical signal. Okay, I will show you later lah. Okay, what happened? So let us proceed first with this one. Okay, so transmission of impulse across a synapse. Impulse are transmitted chemically across synapse. This one I already explained to you before. Impulse must be converted from electrical to chemically. The chemical substance involved are neurotransmitters that are kept in a synaptic vesicles that are found at the end of the synaptic node. Two examples of neurotransmitters found in most synapses are acetylcholine and noradrenaline. Other examples are serotonin and dopamine. Okay, so we go back for this one first. Okay, the impulse that flow inside here, the red color here is in the form of electrical signal. But when reach this synapse, okay, maybe not so clear, I will use another synapse here. Okay, synapse here, it must be converted into chemically. Convert into chemical substance. Then later, when the impulse flow back into the dendrites here, it will be converted back into the electrical signal. So because of this, there must be a process to change from the electrical change into chemically, and then from chemically change back into electrical impulse. Okay, electrical signal. Okay, so that's what we are going to learn later. Okay, what happened in the synapse? So you must remember, the impulse flow in the axon here in the neurons in the form of electrical until reach the synaptic node. But when it reaches the synaptic knob and then it have to travel through the synapse, it must be converted into chemically. Then after it pass through this the synapse and then enter the dendrites of this receiving neuron, so it will be converted back into electrical impulse. So electrical, chemically, electrical. That's why we have something will occur in the synapse lah. Okay, so we want to this diagram. So in the synapse, okay, in the synaptic knob, this is synaptic knob of the receiving neuron, right? Receiving neuron, and then we have this one, receiving. Sorry, this one not receiving neuron. This one is the sending neuron. Sorry, sending neuron. Okay, sending neuron. Okay, synaptic knob of sending neuron, and then we have the receiving neuron. Here is the dendrite. Okay, dendrite of receiving neuron. Okay, so this is a gap. Gap known as synapse. Gap lah. Small gap only. Okay, small gap known as synapse. So what is inside the synaptic knob? The synaptic knob has the synaptic vesicle. A lot of synaptic vesicle here. Okay, a lot of synaptic vesicles that contain neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter. So neurotransmitter is chemical substance can be found inside the synaptic vesicle. So synaptic vesicle like a place that a structure that store the neurotransmitter. So we have 4 types of neurotransmitter. We have acetylcholine, okay, and then noradrenaline, okay, serotonin, and also dopamine. Depends on what type of impulse, okay. So these are the types of neurotransmitter that can be found in the synaptic vesicle. Okay, and then at the dendrite of the receiving neuron, we have the receptor protein. Okay, a place where this neurotransmitter will bind. Okay, so synapse is the gap. Okay, let us continue with the process. Okay, by using the diagram here. Okay, so when electrical impulse reach the synaptic knob, okay, when electrical impulse reach the synaptic knob, synaptic vesicles are stimulated to release neurotransmitter into the synapse. So this one is the sending neuron, right? Sending neuron. So the impulse flow through the dendrite and then cell body and then into the axon. Reach the axon, then reach the synaptic knob. So the impulse here will flow here, for example, reach the synaptic knob. So this one will stimulate the neurotransmitter, okay, to release, will stimulate the synaptic vesicle. Okay, sorry, this impulse will stimulate the synaptic vesicle to release the neurotransmitter. So I repeat, when electrical impulse reach the synaptic knob, this is synaptic knob, right? Okay, at the end of the axon, so it will stimulate the synaptic vesicle, okay, to release neurotransmitter. Release neurotransmitter to the synapse lah, into the synapse, into the gap here. Okay, so this is for the number 1. Okay, then what happened? The neurotransmitter diffuse through the synapse and combine to a specific receptor protein which is receptor on the dendrite of the receiving neuron. So here is the dendrite. Dendrite of receiving neuron contain the receptor, protein receptor. Okay, receptor protein here. So the neurotransmitter here will diffuse and then combine with the protein. With the receptor protein on the dendrite of the receiving neuron. Okay, the binding of the neurotransmitter and the receptor stimulates the initiation of the next impulse so that impulse can be transmitted through the neuron. So when this bind, this neurotransmitter bind with the protein, it will initiate the next impulse. So the next impulse will be initiated. Okay, in the form of electrical signal. Okay, and then we flow through the this one through the neurons, through the axon of the receiving neuron. Okay, okay, clear or not? Okay, this one So the first, okay, I repeat, the first electrical impulse reach the synaptic knobs. Synaptic vesicles are stimulated to release neurotransmitter into the synapse. So when the electrical impulse reach the synaptic knob, it will stimulates the what? Stimulates the synaptic vesicles to release the neurotransmitter. Okay, and then the neurotransmitter will diffuse into the synapse, then combine with this protein, receptor protein on the dendrite of receiving neuron. Then when it combine, it will stimulate initiation of the next impulse. So next impulse will be stimulate. Okay, will be stimulates and then will be transmitted lah along the neuron. So this is what happened lah. Okay, so synaptic knob contain numerous mitochondria to generate energy required for the transmission of nerve impulse. So because of this need a lot of energy. That's why a lot of mitochondria can be found in the synaptic nodes. Okay, here. Okay, so we go back to this diagram. So after this what happened? Okay, that's why when this one in the form of electrical, right? In the form of electrical, then when it reach the synaptic nodes, okay, what happened? The synaptic vesicle will be stimulated to release the neurotransmitter and then enter the receptor protein at the dendrite, combine with receptor protein at the dendrite, and then initiate the electrical impulse to be transmitted lah in the form of electrical signal. So it will flow back, and then at the same time, and then this process will occur again. If you have the another receiving neuron here. Okay, so this is also known as synapse lah. So the process will keep on continue. Okay, until all impulse receive to the specific organ, specific glands or whatever. Okay, so this is how the process occur in the synapse.